So good afternoon and welcome all the participants on the third day of 5 days capacity enhancement training workshop on the topic role of teachers in fostering entrepreneur skills in students for New India. Just a quick recap of yesterday's program. We had an excellent sessions by respected Dr. Shriparna B. Baru on skills and attitude towards entrepreneurship required by teachers. The second session was taken by Dr. Sachin Mudgil on the topic entrepreneurship teaching models. Both the sessions were too good and captivating and full of examples and activities based to enhance the teaching learning process. Many relevant questions were posted by the participants and were answered by our esteemed speakers, which made the platform very vibrant and lively. Today also we have great renowned academician and personality with us, Professor Sanjeev Chaturvedi, advisor to Uzbek India Center for Entrepreneurship Development under Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Republic of Uzbekistan. A very warm welcome to you, Professor Sanjeev. Today, Dr. Sanjeev will be delivering his session on the role of universities in developing small and medium enterprises. Our second speaker of the day is Professor Srinivas S. Shikaripurkar, who is a visiting faculty at NIMS Mumbai, adjunct faculty at SP Jain School of Global Management and member CII Energy Task Force Maharashtra. He will be taking his session on creating green entrepreneur culture at university. So we are looking forward to have great and fruitful sessions today itself. Now we are starting with our first session of the day. We are very delighted and pleased to have with us Professor Sanjeev Chaturvedi ji, who is a graduate in economics, MBA in marketing management, and has done his MPhil in international business. He has been awarded PhD in economics on the topic strategic posture of small and medium enterprises under WTO framework. He has many papers to his credit in the field of international economic environment and WTO, which has been published in Harvard University, Cambridge University, and IIM conferences, to name a few. He was the only Asian selected for CGD Germany fully paid scholarship for higher studies in the field of international marketing. He has written 4 books in the area of marketing and entrepreneurship. His 4th book was just released in August 2021 on Rahim Ke 50 Dohe, 50 Lessons for Entrepreneurs, connecting Rahim with today's business scenario. His 5th book, Vidur Niti, Lessons for Entrepreneurs, will be releasing worldwide by Lambert Academic Publishing, Germany in the month of October 2020. Dr. Chaturvedi has total 31 years of experience, 18 years of industry, and 13 years of academic experience. He was working as a senior faculty professor and chairperson at PG programs at EDII Ahmedabad and has been selected by EDII and joined as advisor at Tashkent, Uzbekistan at India-Uzbekistan Entrepreneurship Development Center. His area of interest is entrepreneurship and international economics. May I have a pleasure of inviting Professor Sanjeev Chaturvedi to kindly address the participants. We are very fortunate and happy to have you today, sir, and thank you for your kind acceptance to give a talk today. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjana. It's extremely a delight to be present today. It was also great to hear the experts on the inaugural function. Yesterday I was a little busy, but today I'll be attending both the session and maybe on Friday also. So first of all, this is a very important topic which you have selected for the FDP, because unless until the university takes the first step towards creating good faculties which can subsequently develop good students on entrepreneurship, or who can look for new job creations, I think the first responsibility comes towards the university or the higher education institutions. But before I start my points, I have some points to discuss with the faculty members. Let me just take 3-4 minutes to tell them what is Central Asia, what is Uzbekistan, and exactly what we are doing here. Because not much information is there in India. Yeah, even for me, when I came in 2020 October, it was an eye-opener because I've never been to Central Asia before. I've traveled other parts of the world, but not in Central Asia. So Central Asia is basically the 5 countries, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and also Turkmenistan, along with Uzbekistan. So these are 5 countries which confers the entire geographical location of Central Asia near to Afghanistan. Because Afghanistan we know after Pakistan and Afghanistan, and then the Central Asia geographically. The total population is around 7.29 crores, which is a small population when we compare to any Indian state. But it is very vibrant. It got independence, all the 5 countries, after the fall of USSR in 1991. And historically, we Indians are very well connected with Uzbekistan. There are 3-4 things which connect us. First, the Mughal Empire started by Babur was from Uzbekistan. There is a state called Andijan here. There are 12 states in Uzbekistan. So one state is Andijan, where from Babur was born, and then he ruled, and then he came. Second is the Silk Route. Silk Route we have all studied in history also, that from China, silk used to go to Europe, and this center was Uzbekistan, where they used to come, rest for 3-4 days, maybe exchange a little bit, and then go to Europe. And the trading was basically done here in Uzbekistan. And third, very importantly, is the, I would say, the influence of Indian movies here. Right from Raj Kapoor to Shah Rukh Khan, you name anybody and they know everybody, right from Raj Kapoor, Mithun Chakravarti, Amitabh Bachchan, and Shah Rukh Khan. So they know, and you will see in local TVs still, even today, at least one picture, Hindi movie dubbed into Uzbek is running on local network. So that is the connection they have with the Indians. Around 4,000 Hindi words which we use in our language is also common in Uzbekistan. So it's an intercultural exchange of vocabulary, our studies, and also some Persian when philosophers came to India and wrote something during Mughal period. So we adopted a lot of things in Hindi also. So there are 4,000 words which are commonly used. Another important thing which now we feel when we come as an Indian here, that we get a lot of respect when they know that we are Indians, because of the 2 reasons. First is that our pharma industry is highly regarded here. Almost 70 to 80% of the pharma medicines or syringes or any equipments are coming from India. So they know India, that we give a very high standards of medicines to across the globe. And especially after COVID vaccination, that respect has gone much higher. And second is the doctors. You must have seen in Delhi or in Bombay, many hospitals may be having people from Central Asia for surgery or major treatment for major diseases. Because the doctors are regarded very high here, and any major surgery, the first destination is India, and they are very happy with the medical standards we have provided those who can afford to come to India and get a treatment. So these 2 things brings not only love and affection because of the movies, but also great respect as a professional here. And now with the IT boom, and of course, you will be surprised, like I am advisor for entrepreneurship invited by government of Uzbekistan. There is another advisor, Mr. Partha Sarthi, who is invited to set up a IT park, and the first IT park is set up by an Indian. So that gives us lot of courage and respect in the society, and that is, I think, the strength of our country's strength of our studies, or strength of our professional experiences, which we have contributed here. So this is to give you an idea that how we are connected with Central Asia and Uzbekistan in particular as such. Now, when we come to, so this was an idea to understand where we are, what we are doing. Now I come to the center which I am heading now. It is called India Uzbekistan Entrepreneurship Development Center. This is the 5th center which is sponsored by Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. 4 we have set up in Southeast Asia. This is the first and the last in Central Asia. And this is to inculcate entrepreneurship in school education, higher education, bring 2 business community together, share knowledge, and of course, to share our expertise with each other. So this is a way where Ministry of External Affairs and Government of India has shared their knowledge of India and experts. We also have such seminars and conferences on Zoom now on different chapters or different sectors. And this is basically to train and create new entrepreneurs, those who are already entrepreneur, to have their capacity building training programs, and those who want to enter business, we help them. So this is the 5th center. We also got 5 centers in Africa. So we got the approval just 2 years back. So last year, one of my colleagues started the 6th center in Kigali, Rwanda, which is also a very upcoming country in Africa. So this way we are now shifting from Southeast Asia to Central Asia to Africa, where people see India as a standard to achieve, at least to start their businesses. And of course, they look India as a role model. So it's a great pleasure to work here with so much of respect and so much of, I would say, love by the people, both business community and also by the local people. So this is to give all the participants an idea about the Central Asia and what we are doing. Regarding the universities, here there are almost 15 to 20 universities internationally which are operating in Uzbekistan, from UK, Italy, India, and of course, MIT also have a campus here in Tashkent. And also there are 4 or 5 more universities which are opening every year. So it's a great potential. Because Uzbekistan is out of 7.29 crore people of entire Central Asia, almost 3.5 crore people are from Uzbekistan. So it's a population-wise, it's very important, and hence that's the I would say the profit which every university look for opening their centers here. So this was to give you an idea and to give you a feel. You will be surprised when you land here that how neat and clean any country can be. Women are working in a most retail roles are done by women. You name it, banking, you name it, IT services, you name it, any service sector, you will find women working, driving their own cars, have most of the modern outfits, and they have a lot of Turkish influence as far as fashion is concerned. So when we think about Central Asia while sitting in India, we think, no, women are just in domestic. No. When you come here, you will find that they are everywhere and they are very independent in nature, but also family oriented. So this was all about the, to give you an idea. Now, when we talk about my role of universities, it is very important that nowadays, because of so much competition, both nationally and internationally, it is important to have a very good ranking in various ranking systems which we have nationally and internationally. I had a chance to teach both in London and also in America. And there are two different type of teaching which I found when we compare to India. Most of the students were paying their own fees, so they were very serious about studies. Not their parents were paying their fees, so it was a self-sponsored studies, and it is expensive in both the countries, UK and America. And second, not only seriousness, but also they were very curious. Dr. Sanjana spoke about that yesterday. There were a lot of questions. So the similar atmosphere was there in the classroom also. And this was because that they wanted to know as many things about that particular topic which is being taught, because they were paying from their own pocket. So they were like a businessman. They were already entrepreneur. If I pay you 100 rupees, I must get information of 200 rupees. In India, it is like, okay, my father gave 100 rupees. If you give 10 rupees information, it's also okay with me. So this is one of the basic differences about the students. So when the students are...
A very, very good example you have given. Excellent example. And this is happening. When you pay from your own pocket, then only you realize the worth of it. Thank you for giving this example, sir.
Thank you. And second, what is the impact of this? That if you are preparing for a class, then the faculty knows that there will be a lot of bombardment of questions from the students. So I have to be well prepared. So that drives you as a professor or as a faculty in these countries. Second is that the role of universities. When we talk about the role of universities, so how faculty can be helping SMEs. So these universities, for example, MIT University, Gurgaon. So MIT University, Gurgaon becomes a member of like many industry associations like CII, PhD Chamber, which is located in Delhi, NCR, or even Haryana, Gurgaon. And or small, because SMEs are the backbone of any country, including USA. You will be surprised that SMEs, small and medium enterprises, are the backbone of any country, including India. So the focus, and there is a job opportunities also, because high-end, like large industry usually have more technology, more machines, better machines, which can produce more. But small and medium enterprises are actually the job givers in any country, irrespective they are developed or developing. So that gives you the strength that SMEs are the focus area of the universities, and how to be connected with the SMEs. First, become the member of these SMEs association. Now, almost all SMEs or industry associations are having educational partners also as a member. So it's not very new for them if MIT or any other institution goes and becomes a member. So that is the first step of role of universities to develop faculties for entrepreneurship. You must be aware that when you any NAC accreditation take place or any international accreditation take place, it is not just the classroom teaching which is important. It is basically the research, the patent, the consultancy, the industry connect. That also is an important part of the accreditation and your ranking in the system of university rankings nationally and internationally. So if you take all the good universities, say top 100 universities, you will find only the classroom teaching is just maybe around 10% of the total ranking system. So that is very important, that if you want to upgrade yourself as a good university, you have to focus outside the classroom teaching. And in the inaugural session also, one of the eminent speakers said about this, that we should look teaching outside the classes. So that's very important now. I'm not sure how much it is possible under UGC rules and all those things, but at least you can, in good winters or good, I would say, weather, you can take a class outside. the classroom and teach there and maybe in the garden in your campus. So that's also helps a lot of people to be improvising on teaching methodologies. So that is one. Then another important thing is that when you become a member of this SME association or industry association, how can you contribute them and how the faculty can learn from them? So the first thing is that ask the SME section that what are their problems? Because everybody, be it Reliance Industry or a small shopkeeper near your house, everybody has some problem. And there is nobody to guide them because, of course, the big companies can hire a consultant, but the small SMEs cannot hire a consultant, which is on paid basis. You offer your services as a faculty that we will give you free consultancy for solving your problem, but involve us and our students for understanding your problem, and then maybe we'll give you some solutions to it. I remember a few years back when I was working with Symbiosis Pune as a dean, in one of the SME Industry Association meeting, there was a glass manufacturer who said that, sir, my wastage and brokerage is very high when I transport my glasses from one point to another point within the city or outside the city. So we offered them as a university that let us understand your problem and we'll provide you some solutions. So we went to his factory, understood how the glasses means all the big buildings you see in Gurgaon and NCR, which have big glasses outside their buildings. So it was a very big company in sense that it was having around 30-40 employees and also doing well. 5-6 years they were in the market. So we understood their problem and we understood that the cardboard which was being used to bifurcate the glasses from one to another was to be changed. Then we went to packaging. There is a packaging institute in Delhi, and we asked them that what we can offer them. And packaging institute asked us to pay something. There was a small fees for consultancy. We paid, but when we paid and got the solution for this glass manufacturer, you will be amazed that the wastage came down to 30%. So they were so happy. And they invited us on various platforms. Those industry association invited us on various platforms to discuss this case study with them. So all these things connect you with the SMEs. Unless until you understand the SMEs, how you can teach SMEs or entrepreneurship to the people. Similarly, one more example I can take is that many times these small and medium enterprises are not very well educated about the banking system, and they require money to finance, to maybe expand, to buy something, to technology or hire somebody, but they do not know how to fill a form or write an application and all those things. So getting them into the banking system, getting them into the financial system, making a small proposal from their side, making the projection of business, faculty can be very helpful. And you, as a faculty, you can also involve 2-3 students who are looking for creating their own entrepreneurship or businesses in the coming future after the education. So the faculty responsibility is to also include students who can be the workforce behind you. You cannot run outside university every time. You have to take classes or do your own research. So you have to have a small team of yours who is interested with SMEs. So this way you can also do a lot of things in financial sector, connecting the SMEs with the banking system or the financial institutions in your city or in your state. There are many state government, I would say, schemes which are there for SMEs, but unfortunately, neither they have time to go to the website and understand them. Sometimes it is in English, they don't know English. So that's another language barrier. So you can help and connect and fill this gap. So that is another advantage you can give to SMEs as a faculty and as a university as whole. And third is very importantly to do a market survey for them. Every business, be it Geo Mart or it can be a small shop near you, they want to expand their businesses. In fact, we had this great opportunity to do 3-4 market survey for some of the companies in Bombay also. And we were surprised that the thinking of the entrepreneur was totally different from the market, because they think that, okay, my product is very good. I have so many people whom I can supply my material. But unfortunately, it is not the case, because you are working in a competitive market. So market survey and giving them the right feedback is very important, which also connect you as a faculty, as a university to the SME sector. So market survey, both in the state or nationally or internationally also can be done by universities. The challenge which you can have in these sectors are of two things. First of all, you have to clearly tell the SMEs that whatever we are providing will be free of cost. Once you start putting the cost, they will run away. Second option can be, you can offer them that, okay, right now we are offering this services free of cost to you, but in case you get some profit out of our solution, you share something with the university as a consultancy or a sponsorship or something like that. So that is also workable, and that can also be an attractive proposition to the SME sectors. So the bottom line with what I'm trying to say with all these examples and deliberation is that the role of university is to be association friendly, in which are focusing on SMEs, becoming member with them, interacting with them. And usually have seen only the directors go in these meetings. No, it is not necessary. If the workshop in this association is on finance, let the finance faculty go into that and contribute. If it is a manufacturing session or manufacturing workshop or technical workshop, then send the right faculty members to them. And of course, it also helps the ranking of university by, if you are providing workshop and of course some FDPs like this to your faculty. So that's also add-on for the ranking of the universities also. So second important thing is by not only becoming member, but also sending the right person to the right seminars or conferences or workshops in these association is also very important. Not every time the directors or any senior person should be there. Of course, there are other platforms also. Then one more thing which I want to share with my faculty members here and participant, that you should actually document everything. What happens is that when we are doing some work, we find that this is a big problem to document everything. Suppose you go to and have a session with some of the owners of medium enterprise, but you don't document it. So important thing is, once you have some interaction or you have a discussion with the SMEs, you document it somewhere, which means that you spend at least half an hour to put everything in bullet form in the one file which you have created for that particular SME. So suppose you go and visit Reliance Industry, for example, it can be a smaller company. So you open a file of Reliance Industry, whatever discussion took place or whatever you think or idea during your students or faculty, you write down in a bullet form. Don't be descriptive, don't be very lengthy like usually we academicians are. So bullet forms are very important in this thing. So when you write a case study, because case study is also a part of ranking of the faculty, ranking of a university in the overall ranking. And of course, it helps in the faculty's academic career also that you have written a case study. So you put it in a bullet form, and when you transfer those bullet forms into case study, then you write academically, or maybe in a more I would say readable form. So it helps not only the industry, but also it helps the academician or the faculty who's involved, students who are assisting that faculty, and of course the university for their ranking and the credibility. Like we always hear on TV channels that Amity University had filed so many patents in so many last year or maybe 3 years back. So this also creates a lot of respect. Those who are seeking admissions as a student, as a faculty, if you are looking for some jobs in Amity University, or maybe ranking of Amity University in overall, I would say, ranking of the universities. I have another 10 minutes, so I will take two important areas which are which can be important for faculty as such. First is that always see that when you are researching or looking for some consultancy, what are the basic problems existing in the environment where you are working. So in the inaugural, Dr. Sanjana spoke that many faculties have come from all parts of the country, and of course some participants from outside. So every state, every city has different environmental, economic environmental I'm talking about. So hence they should think about that what are the problems which they are facing as a common man or a common citizen of that city or a state, and what problems they can be provided, what solutions can be provided for that problem. So that is another important thing, that all entrepreneurs which you see now successful, they have identified a problem and then they have identified the solution for that. Just to take a case of Paytm. Paytm, earlier when we were young, getting a passbook updated was a half-day work. When our father used to give us passbook and say, okay, Sanjeev, go and get it updated. I knew that half day will go. They will come at 10:30 in the morning, bank officers, and then they come after 1.5 hours. But now you don't require. So Paytm identified that going to a bank for a small thing is a problem. And secondly, payments, digital payments is not only transparent, it is accurate. And of course, it is to the correct destination if you enter the information correctly. So Paytm identified a problem, that there was some problem with the banking system, including the private sector banks, and how you can do the banking on your mobile. Now you don't have to see the face of any bank for maybe months together. You don't have to go there. And that he identified a problem and gave a solution. And second important thing in this is to maximize it. How you can maximize this. Otherwise, you will find that your solution is good, but it is only to a small category or a small district or maybe a small locality. If you want to create big entrepreneurs, you have to find out that how these solutions can be maximized, means it can be reachable by everybody here. You must be hearing that now many home food deliveries are saying 10 minutes will deliver. So how this is possible, it is still to be seen, because 10 minutes delivery is from what starting point to what end, we have to understand. But that is another important thing which we understand, that of course, and even Uber and Ola they find a problem that taxis were charging too much. They were not coming at odd times, or they were charging more at odd times. So find a solution for and then they maximize this. Now the same is coming with the motorcycle providers, taxi providers. So there is a lot of taxis on the road, lot of cars. So there is traffic problems, but motorcycle can come faster and go faster. So these are all basically entrepreneurs are those who see a problem, find a solution, and then maximize to the reaching it to the larger consumer. So that is my another point which I wanted to discuss with you. And lastly, I would like to touch upon the areas where you can help actually the SMEs and also get a lot of inputs from them. Of course, one is the market survey, that how to reach their consumers. Second is financial, which we spoke, but third is the technology. You may be knowing during COVID time, a small shopkeeper started having WhatsApp group. What is available in my shop? They used to put a picture and with the price to that. So it was a great COVID, just not only a bad thing happened to our world, but it also gave us a lot of good things to us, how to be connected with people. We called all the people whom we have forgotten in the last 10 years because we were at home, we have nothing to do. So we started calling our old relatives and old friends during this time. We also learned how to cook, how to clean our houses while sitting in our houses, which we never do in India at least. Third, very importantly, we also learned how to live in very small quantity of food, small quantity of clothes, with small interaction with the entertainment, etc. On the other hand, there were some good points like Netflix. Of course, it has now 2 lakhs, about 20 lakh subscribers gone down. But entertainment, digital entertainment become a very important thing. Supply chain management has totally changed during COVID and after COVID also. You now want everything at your doorsteps. So technically, also SMEs are very much lacking how to connect with their consumer or how to find the suppliers for their product which they are making, how to be more competitive in the market. So this is one more area where our faculty members, our students who are well versed with technology, who are well versed with finances, market surveys, they can help the SMEs. And at the end, I would suggest that more freedom should be given by universities to the faculty members. And of course, you can track them. You can have a reporting system of your own, because that is also important in today's time. But we should start shifting our focus from classroom teaching to outside world. Just to give you an example, when we were teaching in America or UK, there was for MBA student only 9 hours of weekly teaching, classroom teaching, which means, and in India, we do it 9 hours in one day, for example, I can say, or maybe in 2 days. So you understand why all the big companies or big entrepreneurs or the big multinationals, they are coming from America, because there is no classroom teaching. And classroom teaching is basically, yes, one important thing I missed for faculties also, that when we teach in classroom, our notes are given to the students at least 1 week before, whether it's PPT or reading material or any other references. You have to give 1 week before the actual class. And when we come to classroom, there is no PPT. There is no, I would say, academic, only discussion. So the classroom is like a boardroom. You start feeling that you are not teaching anybody. You are discussing with your board members that, okay, this is a problem, how we can solve it. And then everybody participates. So that's another style of, I would say, where the SMEs and not SMEs, but the faculties could focus in the coming future, that you provide all your reading material to your students. It might be happening in India that many students don't read and come. You can think of that punishment, that, okay, your attendance will not be marked. You can sit in the class or you can leave the class, it's okay. But if you have not studied, then there is no point giving you anything in advance. But the classroom should be a discussion room or a boardroom rather than a classroom teaching. So these were some of my thoughts which I wanted to share with you. And now if you have any questions, I can answer it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev Chaturvedi ji, for your excellent and inspiring words and beautiful way of putting your insights in front of all the participants. You gave excellent examples. You have given excellent case studies, which will definitely help all the faculty members if they try to inculcate in their teaching methodologies. You have also emphasized on focusing on outside teaching, focusing on outside word, which is a very, very great thing. And also documentation is very, very important, which you have said. We do documentation, but I think the reinforcement is also very much required, as you have given the reinforcement. We know all these things, but what happens is that we forget. But reinforcement for all these things is equally important by great leaders, by visionaries, to all the faculty members and to all the members. So that is a great thing. So now let's have a question answer session. So we have a few questions on the chat box. This question is from Professor Rahul. As an industrialist, what is the role to teach students?
Okay, industry can, there are two ways of connecting industry with your student. One is like what I said, that you become the focal point and involve 2-3 students for connecting with some industry, say. Another important thing in industry is that how they have grown into a system. Sometimes there is a lot of competition, sometimes there is no competition of a product. So let the industry person come to your campus or come to your class, share his success story. What we usually find when we connect industry in inviting them in university is any seminar or in an award function.
Yes.
Where they speak little about their growth history or growth story. We should invite them actually for sharing their experiences. What were the problems, how they have tackled it, how they have become successful in the market, and what are their future activities. That way they can, maybe you can have a 1 hour, 1.5 hour session with the students. And I'm very, because I'm also a professor, students like to hear more from industry rather than from their professors. They think that, okay, we have industry experience, that is separate. But every industry changes after 2-3 years or 5 years. So what we have faced may not be now relevant today. And I think when the existing entrepreneur or existing industry person share his story with the students, I think nothing can compare that. No type of case study or no type of classroom teaching can replace that. So, and I think in university, what they can do, they should ask every faculty members to bring at least 2 to 3 entrepreneurs in a year. I'm not saying every month, but in a year to the campus. It can be a small entrepreneur or it can be a big entrepreneur, but there should be some target, 2 or 3 entrepreneurs whose sessions can be done in the industry or in a particular subject, I would say. And it will certainly help the faculty and the university and of course the students ultimately.
Definitely. Because rightly said, Professor Sanjeevji, that we must invite industry leaders to take up the classes, to take up the sessions, rather than just inviting in the seminars to deliver the talk for 5 to 10 minutes. That is a great idea. Yeah. So next question is from Dr. Sam, that, sir, are you emphasizing experiential learning strategies for the development of entrepreneurship?
Yes. I tell you a very interesting case. I was teaching through MIT. I went to California State University in this 3C program, which we run from Noida campus. So I was staying in California State University campus in San Bernardino, and there was another Indian faculty who was a professor in that university, and Mr. Gupta, Dr. Gupta. And he said, Sanjeev, so next time when you come in summers, I won't be here. I said, okay, you are leaving for on vacation or something? No, I am taking 2 years sabbatical for writing a case study. I was a little shocked because 2 years is a very long time to write a case study. I thought I heard wrong. I said, you are going to write a case study or a book? He said, no, case study. I said, 2 years for writing a case study? Yes, I am paid by my employer. He was from the industry. So a company hired him for 2 years with some extra money. And he said that I will be paid everything plus some benefits and some share if I negotiate well. And I have to give them they have given me certain problems. I have to find a solution. So just imagine that good faculties are spending 2 years to write a case study or do a research paper. Of course, in India, we cannot afford such things, but at least experiential learning is very must. And I'm not sure, as per UGC guidelines or as per university guidelines, how much time you can give to your faculty for writing a case study or writing a research paper. We expect the faculties to teach every, say, 5-6 hours in the classrooms and then go back and do research on their own. No, research and case studies or book writing is also a part of universities and the faculty's academic work. So there should be some time allocation for this work also. So maybe one day you can give no classes to the faculties or no classes in the second half. So that flexibility university is also the responsible for. Yes, but experiential learning is very important in today's time, especially in management, I would say.
Very, very good, sir. Excellent. You said that little bit of flexibility is very, very important for the faculty members. Plus, like you said, that maybe in a week, half day, they can give to the faculty members to write their papers or to work on the case studies. Very great.
Yeah.
Next question is from Dr. Roshan Arya, that how can students choose entrepreneurship as a career?
See, when I came from an institute before Tashkent, I was at professor at Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, which is based in Ahmedabad. And it is the first entrepreneurship focused institute in India. It is sponsored by Gujarat government and several banks. Now, on the first day of the students, there is no placement week in our EDII. There is nothing called job placement week because we don't create employees, we create employers. So how we do it, that on day one, we tell every students of the new batch in the first day, first session of the orientation program, that from today, you have to think like a businessman. You have to think like an entrepreneur. And you have to start creating a business plan from now onwards. And after 2 years, before you graduate, you have to pitch your business plan in front of banking people from financial institutions, and of course, the investor and angel investor and the other who are want to invest in your. So like what you see on TV, the new programs on Shark India or something like that, we call it, where you create pitching of your business plan. Every student has to pitch their business plan after 2 years. And every semester, we have a tri-semester system in our campus, in our program. So every semester, there is certain things everybody has to do, and it has to present. And so there are 6 semesters, so there are 6, I would say, checkpoints for business plan. So creating entrepreneurs in students is extremely important, that it should be time bound, even if, because MIT students are also from very rich families. So So we should also tell them that, of course, your father will invest in your business or you take over your business of your father, but you are still an employee. You still having loan from your father. How you will repay that loan or how you will enhance the business of your. So they should have a business plan, and it should be time-bound business plan. And I think faculties and of course the industry people, if you connect them, they can monitor that on a regular basis, maybe quarterly or maybe 6 monthly. It depends on the university and the faculty. Quarterly is a much more appropriate timing for focusing and putting pressure on the student to complete certain activities in every quarter. So that is one way that any student wants to become an entrepreneur, he must have a business plan and time-bound business plan, and you can be mentoring it along with some industry person. Lastly, entrepreneurs, even if you are in a job, you tell your student that even if you are in a job, no company has a time to train you. No company has a time to sustain you for more than 6 months. If you don't perform, you will be out. So you have to start thinking, even in a job like an entrepreneur, how to bring business, how to bring customer, how to satisfy customer, how to bring finances, how to improve the efficiency of the team where you are working. So even if you are in a job, you have to think like an entrepreneur. You can't think like, okay, now I'm just an executive, so I can relax for the next 2 years. No, company will throw you out in 6 months if you don't perform. So you have to think like businessman even from day one, even if you are in a job. If they pay you 6 lakh rupees in a year as a package, they will try to take out 10 lakh rupees from you. So that's immaterial whether you are in your own business or you are in a service. So that way you can cultivate this feeling of entrepreneurship in your college, in your students, whether own business or job seekers also.
Beautifully clarified the concept. Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev ji. Next question is from Dr. Ankita Dalal. So I have a question regarding the Assamese population, which sir was discussing. As he mentioned that challenges faced by them are mainly money-oriented issues, language barrier. I am curious to know whether they are also have bullying as a stumbling block in maybe teaching sector or industrial area.
Can you repeat, madam?
I have a question regarding the Assamese population which sir is discussing, as he has mentioned that challenges faced by them are mainly money oriented issues, language barrier. I am curious to know whether they are also have bullying as a stumbling block in maybe teaching sector or industrial area. Dr. Ankita Dalal, are you there? Can you clarify your question? If we get, Mr. Puneet, can you allow audio to Dr. Ankita Dalal so that she can clarify her question? Ma'am, I don't know how to unmute myself. Puneet, Mr. Puneet, can you unmute Ankita, Dr. Ankita?
Doing, ma'am, doing.
In the meanwhile, we can take the next question that is there any contradiction of experiential learning?
At least in few, it's an interesting question because sometimes people say that if you are in geography or science or mathematics, you don't need experiential learning. In some subjects, yes, it can be possible. But even if you talk about technology or management or even machines, or maybe engineering sector, I think experiential learning has become one of the bottom, and it demarcates also good faculty or good universities from the other ones. Experiential learning is one thing which is inculcated, at least I can say in developed countries, from childhood. For example, you will find when you travel to, say, many museums in UK or Europe or America, you will find that parents take their small children who don't know what is history, what is something XYZ, where my parents are taking, but they will take it for whole day round in the museum and telling that small kid, this is Kohinoor, it was in India, or something like that, that story. And maybe children doesn't even understand 1% of that. But the focus of the parent is to understand, to make the child understand that this is a museum where some things are kept, which has a history and which is good for us to learn. So this experiential learning is very important to inculcate right from the childhood to the businessman also, including the faculties. Another example I can give, that here, if when you land in Tashkent or anywhere in Uzbekistan where I have traveled, you will find absolutely neatness and cleanness on the road. There is no filth on the roads. And the bottom line is that whenever you find a student or a small child going to school, bag will be on the shoulder and one garbage bag in hand. He will first go to garbage bag container, put garbage, and then go to school. So this way, experience is not only just giving 100% outside, 200%. So it is basically experiential learning is to inculcate in your students or even in faculties. Sometimes faculties also have this problem that I don't have any business exposure. But when you start going to small scale industries or SMEs, you will start feeling, okay, this small problem is can be solved of this particular person. So faculty and students must go through this process of experiencing these entrepreneurship and the problems and how to find a solution. So I think there cannot be substitute. Of course, there are some subjects which can be excluded.
Yes, Mr. Puneet, this very good question, Dr. Mahfouz, you have posted. Mr. Puneet, can we speak? Does Dr. Ankita speak her question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please, Dr. Ankita, go ahead.
Yeah.
So because I'm from a psychological background, so I just wanted to know about bullying in Assamese population. So just like you were telling us that if education is free of cost, they will attend classes. Once you demand money, they will react to it and they won't come to school. So I just wanted to know that is bullying a prevalent issue in Assamese population, or are there some approachable authorities in teaching sector or industrial sector or some government helplines in the population that you were talking about?
No, SMEs are small and medium enterprises. I think you confused with SMEs of Assam population.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about as some people only.
Oh, no,
Yes, yes, no problem, no problem. So SMEs are, we usually call it SMEs, but it is small and medium enterprises. So I was talking about that. So no problem. That's why I could not understand your question in the first page.
Okay. The next question is from Dr. Vishakha Mandal, that what are the ways a faculty of English can do consultancies in companies? How to approach them?
Faculty of English, I think you should come to Uzbekistan. You will be very surprised that every road here in Tashkent, you will find one English speaking or English teaching center. And they are very well made, very well. It's like almost like a corporate office. And the reason is that if you want, any student wants to go into MBA program or PG program, which are taught in English, you need at least IELTS 5 score. So all these colleges or centers, I would say, are teaching English. And the young generation have understood that with Russian, which was there earlier, like we are taught in English, they were taught in Russian. and Uzbek, the local language, will not connect them to the world. So now, young generation, you will find all trying to learn English. And these centers are extremely profitable centers. We did a market survey for one of the companies in India. You will be surprised that one small center of where they can have, say, 50 to 60 students thrice a week, they earn around $1,000 to $2,000 from one batch. So that much of amount of business is there for English faculties. But yes, when we talk about English faculties in India, the big challenge SMEs find is that most of the documents which are there, if they are in their local language, it is okay. Like Hindi or any Telugu or Tamil, and they can maybe ask somebody and fill it. But when they go for some central schemes, like we have a lot of schemes which are sponsored by central ministries or big organizations like SIDBI, everything is in English. So that's a big challenge for the SMEs to fill that. And maybe they are not in the right circle who also know where some people know English also. So here, the English faculty can say, okay, we'll fill your form. If you get money from the ministry or from some scheme, then you pay us. They will be very happy. If they get money, they will certainly share a small portion with you. But don't ask initially, because they will say, okay, maybe I have to pay from my own pocket. So you don't do. SMEs will be very, very, I would say, happy and overwhelming when you say, when you earn profit, then you share a small portion with us. Then they will be ready to do anything with you. So this way, your approach should be profit oriented for them, not for you. So then profits will come for both of you.
I would like to take the last question, Doctor. This question is from P. Lakshmi Nair, that what role does university play in inculcating entrepreneur education in curriculum, where the teacher and student both have to adopt to this new method of teaching and learning?
Very good question again. In fact, the pedagogy which I was talking about, the classroom teaching in developed countries and India is totally different. That is one. Second is that entrepreneurship is, suppose we are teaching entrepreneurship, we always give some little more weightage to it. Then only we can create entrepreneurs. If usually I have found in many universities that it's an optional subject in the curriculum. So I would suggest that should be one of the core subjects of every student who is at least learning or doing management. As I said, that even if you're in service, you have to become a part of entrepreneur or the business. So that is one thing, that entrepreneurship should be one of the core subjects which everybody has to pass, like any first semester. So that can be first step. Second, as I said, that when you are there is one form which you have to fill for UGC. I forget the name of that, for your ranking, etc. for each faculty at the end of the year. Okay, I'll remember that name. So something which has to do with industry should be given more leverage, more weightage, rather than giving the same numbers to everything. You will be surprised to note that one case study in America is equivalent to writing 2 books. So that is the weightage of university which is given to case study, because case study is always paid by the industry, finding a problem and giving a solution to the industry. So they think that unless until the industry survive, how will our students will survive? So if industry prosper, our students will also prosper. So one case study is equivalent to writing to 2 books. So this type of leverages and benefits are given to when you connect with industry or SMEs in particular here. Thirdly and lastly, that I think, as I am saying, that some flexibility to the mentors or some flexibility to the faculties who are teaching entrepreneurship to be connected with the industry association, and that should be a part of their there is a system where you when you go from one rank to another rank in assistant professor to assistant, so you fill a form, so that weightage has to also
Here it
yes
PBAS.
yes PBAS, yes now I remember. So that weightage has to be given more. Unless until that happens, then otherwise the faculty, whenever they will find time, they will sit in their cabin and write a paper on internet or through internet or some books. So then then of course that is also part, research is also important part, but research, unless it is connected with some problem and solution, research is just for libraries, nothing else.
Thank you so much, Professor Sanjeev Chaturvedi ji, for clarifying so many questions in such a simple manner. Such a simple manner. You have great personality, such a composed personality. The way you were explaining, the way you were answering to all the questions, absolutely very, very delightful. Thank you so much for being with us, Professor Sanjeev Chaturvedi ji, and we look forward to have more sessions from you because you explain it in an excellent manner. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so
much. Pleasure is mine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we are starting with our next session of the day. We are very delighted and pleased to have with us today Professor Srinivas, visiting faculty at NIMS Mumbai, adjunct faculty at SP Jain School of Global Management, and member CAI Energy Task Force Maharashtra. He's there on the screen. Good afternoon, Dr. Srinivas.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Dr. Sanjana. Thank you for having me.
Professor Srinivas' interest lies in marketing strategies and sustainability, and he has over 23 plus years of corporate experience. He has worked for IBM, Aegis, UTV, and Front and Sullivan. Professor Srinivas is an adjunct faculty with SP Jain School of Global Management and faculty with NIMS Mumbai campus. He also teaches for the executive MBA programs, specially designed for middle-level executives of Hero MotoCorp, Gurgaon. He also teaches for IIM Lucknow Virli program for the subject of product management. He was recently inducted as an honorary member by CII, that is Confederation of Indian Industry Task Force, and provides critical inputs in the domain of renewable energy for the state of Maharashtra. Professor Srinivas has secured his executive program in business management from IIM Calcutta and is also a gold medalist in marketing from Mumbai. He has secured an excellent grade in strategic management from IIM Calcutta. He has also received a gold medal for his excellence in MBA academics from Professor Wells, Professor of Business Strategy from the Harvard Business School. May I have a pleasure of inviting Professor Srinivas to kindly address the participants. We are so happy to see you today. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjana Vij. Thank you for your introduction. Good evening, everybody. At the very outset, I would like to personally thank Dr. Sanjeev Chaturvedi, whom you all heard a while ago. Dr. Sanjeev Chaturvedi was my academic mentor and my chief academic officer at Narsee Monjee Institute of Management Studies. He's a very close colleague of mine, and I am in regular touch with him. So it is, I'm very glad to see that my session was kind of combined with his session. So I got an opportunity to hear him in person. So thank you, Amity University, Dr. Sanjana, for doing so. Wonderful to have you all. I can see you have a wonderful audience of about 77 participants, including myself. That's a very impressive setup, given that we have all gone back to our offline mode now, and still, we have such a good turnout. Just a quick administrative announcement that I want to make is I will be making Dr. Sanjana hard stop at 4:29. because I have a call at 4:30. I hope that is okay with you.
No problem, no problem. We can take the question answer session by 4:15.
Okay, wonderful.
So participants start posting your questions by 4:10 so that you can have the answers to your questions.
Perfect. I also have a PPT to share, so I will just be sharing the. Can you, Dr. Sanjana, confirm?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, wonderful. Good afternoon, everybody. Delighted to be here. It is unusually warm in Mumbai. Technically, it is said to be 34, 35 degrees Celsius as per the Weather Bureau. But the Weather Bureau statistics shows that you are getting a feeling as if it is 43 degrees Celsius because of the humidity factor. Welcome to a very different world, friends. Welcome to the era of climate change and global warming. And that's why a topic which is very, very closely related to our day-to-day lives and our happenings is what I have been asked to speak about today. My topic for today is creating green entrepreneurial culture at universities. My name is Srinivas Shikaripurkar and I'm basically based out of Mumbai. Now, obviously, Professor Sanjana Veej has already given a wonderful background of me. So this is a photograph of mine when I was much more younger. Now I have a receding hairline, and that's one of the reasons why I like online lectures, because it can very nicely mask my receding hairline. And I always put this photograph because it reminds me of my relatively younger age when I was looking much more youthful. But I can guarantee to
You're looking still smart. Don't worry, Professor Srinivas.
I can guarantee to the participants that I have a very young heart and attitude as far as teaching is concerned, and that's one of the reasons why I've continued to teach continuously since the past 20 years now. We will start off our today's session by a very interesting quote of John F. Kennedy. And the reason why I'm introducing this quote is very often we as citizens of our country, we as students in a university have a tendency to ask to the university or to our country government that, look, I'm paying so much of income tax. I as a student have paid so much of fees to the university. What am I going to get in return? What is the university going to give me back in return? While there is a valid justification in asking this question, but the former president of United States, John F. Kennedy, says, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And in this statement lies the entrepreneurial seed, which is exactly what our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi is attempting to do. And if you look at one of the most recent statements that our Honorable Prime Minister made, he said that India is full of entrepreneurial energy, and the Stand Up Initiative, Stand Up India Initiative, is going to be a part of an ongoing effort to channelize the spirit to further progress and prosperity. All the students and all the faculty members, as all of you are aware, you are well read, you read newspapers, you have online subscriptions, you would have seen in recent times the number of unicorns, the explosive growth of fintech startups, the explosive growth of edutech startups, the emergence of new billionaires. Today's billionaires do not have gray hair. Today's billionaires look like a college-going student. Today's billionaires look like any other student or any other ordinary person walking the road. Today's billionaires are very, very informal in nature. Today's billionaires are very difficult to be recognized if they are walking on the street. You can identify yourself with them. So welcome to the era of New India, an India which our Honorable Prime Minister talks about the demographic dividend. The average age of an Indian, as per the United Nations statistics, is 29 years, which means we are one of the youngest countries in the world. Average age of a Japanese is 52. Average age of a Chinese is 43. And the average age of an Indian is 29 years. And we have to decipher what our Honorable Prime Minister is trying to relay as a message for us. He is trying to tell us that this is a new India, this is a young India. This is an India which is full of energy, full of enthusiasm. And for a country whose average age is 29, the education sector becomes the most important anchor, becomes one of the most important accountable institutions in order to strive and create and mold careers of our young enthusiastic diaspora, young boys and young girls alike. And that's why we as faculty members and we as deans, adjunct faculty members have one of the greatest responsibilities ever put on anybody's shoulder anywhere in the world. Actually, this is a clear-cut statement that I'm making for the benefit of my fellow colleagues here, that you should feel very proud of yourself because Government of India has thrust upon you the greatest responsibility that mankind has ever going to face. You have to educate millions and millions and millions of young, youthful Indians. You have to make them responsible citizens. You have to make them successful employees. You have to make them successful entrepreneurs. So one of the most interesting impacts of this, and this is our agenda. I will set the context, I will set the background. Then we look at the corporate perspective and the academic perspective. And I've got a caselet, which I'll be sharing with you in the form of a short case study. Unlike Professor Sanjeev Chaturvedi, who said that case studies in United States take 2 years to build. For my caselet, it took me about 10 days to prepare this caselet because I had to consult with a lot of fellow colleagues in the industry. So yes, but the effort taken was substantial, but nevertheless, the time duration was less. Friends, what you see here is the same terminology Chief Sustainability Officer put on both the sides of the screen. The year is 2018, which is not too far off. It was just 4 years ago. And you can see that the font size of Chief Sustainability Officer is very small. And the font size of Chief Sustainability Officer in the current year, 2022, is very large. What is the reason behind this? Can anybody write in a chat window? What am I trying to indicate? Why is the font size of Chief Sustainability Officer larger? What am I trying to indicate? What am I trying to hint? Can you hazard a guess? I'll wait for about 30 seconds for your chat messages. This is going to be an interactive session. Importance in current role says Tanima Sharma. Very good. Any other opinions? You're free to write your opinions in the chat window box. Why is the font size of Chief Sustainability Officer more widen area of responsibility, says Sureka Yadav, wonderfully expressed. Dr. Vandana says new vision, very good. Wonderful opinions, wonderful expressions. I'll just wait for another 10 seconds. Vishakha Mandal says importance of sustainability of environment and its saviors, size or quantity of entrepreneur, very good. Veena Singh. Friends, the real answer of this is in 2018 in the job sector. You know, what is it that a student yearns for after an MBA program is done? He or she seeks a job, isn't it? In 2018, if a student said that I have done some specialization or a project in sustainability, environment management, Ankita Dalal says improvement in the role of officer relation. Okay, good guess. In 2018, there was not much emphasis. Sakhi Roy says importance of Chief Sustainability Officer has increased. Absolutely right, Sakhi Roy. In fact, what is happening is in the job sector, if on your resume as a student, if you went to an employer and you wrote about a project that you have done in environment management as part of your campus, nobody would take notice of it in 2018. But in 2022, even if you use the word environment anywhere in the resume, your resume is likely to get shortlisted for any position in the CSR or the sustainability domain. Welcome to the new India, friends. Welcome to the era of sustainability. So the Chief Sustainability Officer is now one of the most important management positions in the hierarchy of an organization. He or she has as much weightage as that of a chief executive officer. It's a strategy role. It's a very important role. The size of the pie, the size of the importance of this domain has become very, very large. And for us as students, that represents tremendous opportunities, both as faculty members and students, to tap into this opportunity. And that's the agenda of my today's session. If you look at the job creation opportunities in the sustainability sector, the International Labour Organization, United Nations estimates states that 24 million new jobs globally will be created by 2030 if the right set of policies are put up. But I will be very honest with you, I don't buy this number, 24 million. 24 million for the whole world, you got to be kidding me. For me, I'm going to add another zero to this number. And I'm just doing it. I don't have any justifications. I don't have any facts. I don't have any figures. I'm going to make 240 million. Now, some of you will say, how is that possible? Because job creation exercise involves direct jobs and indirect jobs. And we have not talked about the indirect jobs. Let me give you an example. Suppose you have developed a coffee house. You have a coffee shop. You're a bunch of 2 young students and you have decided to have a coffee shop outside your campus. It's a small business that you have started as an entrepreneur. And you say that all the cups in my coffee shop are going to be made of recycled materials. I'm a green entrepreneur. I want everything, the interiors of my shop is made of recycled materials. Just look at the potential employment opportunities and business opportunities that you as an entrepreneur are giving to others. For designing the interiors, you will have to require an interior designer who will have to blend in green initiatives, come up with innovative out-of-box ideas to do the interior design, to whom you're going to pay the money. For creating the packaging materials, you'll have to hire a supplier. For the reduce, reuse, recycle, which is the triple R principle, you will have to hire another outside supplier to take care of the waste recycling. So there is another partner. So just to give you an example, you have already hired 3 or 4 additional elements in your outer ecosystem, which nobody had considered in the earlier case. So there is a direct correlation between creating direct green jobs and the indirect economy, the parallel economy, the interdependent economy, which is also going to get increased substantially in equal measure. And that's the reason, that's the opportunity that we are talking about. Now, what is India's green Bhag? Bhag, as you know, is a management term which stands for big, hairy, and audacious goal. I teach the subject of principles of management in SP Jain. And I always, students mistake Bhag as a Hindi terminology because it has got a Hindi connotation, but actually it is an English term, big, hairy, and audacious goal. It's a stretch goal. Friends, our Prime Minister has set very, 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 very ambitious targets. Let me be very honest and candid with you. No Prime Minister in India's history has set such ambitious targets as our current Prime Minister has. He went last year at the COP26 summit in Glasgow, where he said that by 2070, he surprised the audience. He caught them unawares by saying that we're going to have a net zero target of 2070 in India, the second most populous nation in the world. Everybody was caught unawares. Our initial target of 175 gigawatts of renewable energy, by the way, we are not going to achieve that target. Let me tell you the other side of the story as well. Coin has 2 sides. We are finding it challenging. That was because of the COVID pandemic. But now our Prime Minister has upped that target to 500 gigawatts of installed electricity capacity through non-fossil fuel sources, which is your wind energy, solar energy, right? Your hydroelectric sources. All of these energy sources are going to lead the growth drive in India. And friends, this is a photograph which I've taken of Kochi Airport in Kerala. This is the world's first fully solar powered airport. The world's first. Everybody talks about India, especially a lot of Western media. You will see literature slightly in a different tonality when it comes to India. They talk about job losses, unemployment, poverty. But look at the bright side of India. The world's first solar power airport is Kochi International Airport. And completely powered. It is a net zero emitter. And there are some beautiful videos on YouTube. I would urge you to see that during your spare time. Why am I sharing this statistic with you? The point that I'm trying to drive here is government is in the driver's seat when it comes to green initiatives in India. And when government is in the driver's seat, you know that there are going to be tremendous opportunities coming your way as students. You need to keep your ears and eyes open as students. That means you need to have antennae. You know, TV के पुराने ज़माने में there used to be an antenna to catch the signal. So यहाँ पे एक artificial antenna बनाना है. You have to set up an antenna, and that antenna has to catch what is happening around you. And once you catch what is happening around you, you will be delighted to know what is happening around you. So what are the triggers for green entrepreneurism other than the government fillip? Greater consumer awareness. I want to narrate a short story here. Since the last 25 years, I have been accompanying my mother to the vegetable market in Mumbai. Or her time, the vegetable vendor, she buys say 5 or 6 different vegetables, right? He opens a plastic thaila. Benji, take this plastic thaila. You put it. And my mother had to very politely tell him, I don't want your plastic thaila. I'm carrying a cotton bag. She's been doing it since the last 40 years. Okay. And you may not believe me, I did a small calculation and I understood that roughly about 7 to 8 plastic bags per visit she saves from bringing it into the house. So in 1 month, she's saving roughly about 25 to 30 such plastic bags. Let's, for simplistic purposes, round it off to 30. 30 in a month. 30 multiplied by 12, 360 plastic bags in a year. Multiplied by 10, 3,600 plastic bags in 10 years. Multiplied by 4, because since she's been doing this since 40 years, you're looking at 14,400 plastic bags, which my mother, who is a homemaker, housewife, has saved from bringing it into the house. Now, what has this consumer awareness got to do with this story? Fellow vegetable purchasers have been noticing her and they have also switched over to cotton bags. When you do something good, it goes viral. So now a lot of homemakers like her get cotton bags into the vegetable market. Today's youthful generation is very much aware about the negative impacts of not treating your waste effectively. Today's children have become very well aware. Schools have instilled a very nice purpose and a sense of ethics, a sense of purpose, a sense of righteousness, something that our former president APJ Abdul Kalam used to quote quite often, righteousness. Demand for green products is going up. If you ever visit Godrej Nature's Basket, which is a well-known retail outlet in Mumbai, you'll see that there is a lot of demand for recycled packaging, recycled bags, etc., etc. Laws for reduction in carbon emissions. Governments, if you file a public interest litigation in any of the courts in India, we have a NGT, National Green Tribunal. I also teach a subject, Environment and Disaster Management, in NMIMS, Narsi Monji Institute of Management Sciences. And in that institute, I am the content reviewer of this book, Environment and Disaster Management. We have a National Green Tribunal where the case can come up very quickly. Green wastage disposal techniques. Effective techniques are coming up. The 3R principle, reduce, reuse, recycle. The best advantage of a corporate is in this clutter, so many brands are there. If you tell that your brand uses recycled packaging, recycled green elements, you are perceived to be different. So in marketing, we call that as differentiation, product differentiation. And that's a very important role that we are looking at. So it creates a positive goodwill, a positive aura about the company at large. Now let's come to what can the institutions do? So I have taken one example from the portal Startup India. And I don't know how many of you are aware, right now as I speak, Government of India has started a clean tech innovations challenge. You can see the dates. Today is 27th, so obviously the application result day would have happened on 25th of April. I'm going to stop the screen share here and I'm going to take you to the web portal. I have already also meanwhile seen some of your questions. I'll come to your questions in a moment. So let me just take you to the website of Clean Tech Startup India. Friends, this is the website, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, as you can see, Vanijya Evam Udyog Mantralay. And I want you to look at the kind of ideas that have been submitted under the eligibility criteria. So you can see the relevant industry, everything is there. Artificial intelligence is there, green technology is there, IT services is there, agriculture is there, renewable energy, which is my area, is also there. And you can see some very interesting problem statements that have been created. So I'll just read out a few of them. Solution for optimum water utilization in mines during summers. This is the fields of Dhanbad in Jharkhand and those neighboring areas. Drone-based surveillance come quick response system to enhance security system again in mining areas. Development of automatic seed ball making machine for mass production for selective size seed balls with a mixture of clay and manure, what we call as frugal innovation. Design and fabricating an aerodynamic sapling package canister cone container for aerial bombardment of plant samplings. Very, very innovative idea here. Design and development of robotic arms for cleaning of solar panels. Who would have thought about this out-of-box application? So some very, very innovative elements have been put up. So as universities, one of the suggestions that I would urge our honorable faculty members to do is to be logged on to some of these websites of Government of India, subscribe to their newsletters. And when such opportunities come, they should encourage their students to participate in these competitions. The difference in this competition vis-a-vis other competitions is other competitions are intercollegiate competitions. Here, the account holder, the stakeholder is Government of India. That will give visibility to your institution brand. It will give visibility to your brand amongst the corporates as well, because there are a lot of corporate sponsorships happening here. Corporates are keeping a very close watch about what kind of ideas are coming and which are the institutes which are sponsoring these ideas. So this is one idea which I wanted to share with you. Now, when it comes to financing green opportunities, there are a whole host of opportunities that we could explore. One is crowdsourcing, which is Kickstarter, which is one of the well-known websites that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. Crowdsourcing is gathering pace in a country like India, especially amongst the youth. In a crowdsourcing web portal, as you know, each one contributes maybe in the range of 10 rupees, as less as 10 rupees to as high as 100,000 rupees. And they become a stakeholder in your idea. Angel investors, let me tell you, friends, India has a lot of HNIs, high net worth individual investors. I heard from Dr. Chaturvedi that a lot of students from MIT belong to certain families who come from industrialist background or well-disposed families. I would strongly urge them to identify these opportunities for angel investments. Angel investors are those who either may not charge an interest, or even if they do charge an interest, it will be a minimal interest rate, and they basically go on bonhomie and goodwill and the gut feel. And I am sure all of you know that a lot of people from the film industry also have become angel investors. Now, I'm not a very big fan of film industry, even though I belong to Mumbai. There are a lot of non-film industry HNIs, gems and jewelry, diamond exporters. These are the people who are always on the lookout for investments. For them, only three letters matter: ROI, return on investment, right? So, and also goodwill. Banks and financial institutions are there, obviously. Venture capital and private equity funds are stakeholders. Some of them can be equity stakeholders, like the private equity stakeholders, as is evident to the Shark Tank program, which I'm sure most of you are aware about. And the least thought about idea here is corporate sponsorship. This is an area which I feel has been less explored amongst Indian universities. And I feel that this is the tip of the iceberg. I would strongly urge, while the points 1, 2, 3, 4 have been tried and tested in multiple institutions earlier, corporate sponsorship is still an unexplored domain. Most of the companies have CSR funds. And as per the Companies Act 2013, Schedule 7, companies can divert 2% of their average net profit towards CSR endeavors. So this is a very interesting area for Amity University to tap into. Now, what are the opportunities for MBA institutions? You can, for Amity University, you can develop a dedicated course. Let me tell you, Warwick University. I am basically empaneled requester for Warwick University, UK. It's one of the most prestigious universities. They have one of the best programs on sustainability. I have personally recommended so many of my students to this program, and they've already got enrolled for that program. But the second point which I'm talking about here is even more interesting, which is incubation labs. And this is where I decided to reach out to my fellow faculty peers from IIM Bangalore and IIM Indore. And I'm personally indebted to the Dean of IIM Indore, Professor Himanshu Rai and Professor Sundar, for sharing their valuable inputs with me on this slide, which all of you will get to see very soon. So friends, IIM Bangalore 20 years ago started an incubation program. And this incubation program was called as the NSR Cell. NSR essentially stands for Nadathur S. Raghavan Center for Entrepreneurial Learning. He was an alumnus and he decided to give some money back to his alma mater, right? And through that fund, IIM Bangalore was able to set up an incubation lab. Now look at the methodology. They have Friday one-on-one mentoring sessions, which is meeting the mentor. Pre-incubation launch pad is there, which is a 3 months of structured guidance where faculty members, experts, people from the industry are there. It's a cohort. It's like a typical cohort-based program. Sessions are conducted by entrepreneurs and academicians. And it's a 1-year program of incubation where the mentors and the investors connect. And they also give workspace inside the campus. They give them infrastructure support, for brainstorming, meetings, internet connectivity, etc., etc. So you can see so far the NSR cell has had 585 ventures incubated, about 100,000 plus entrepreneurs have been engaged, 6,900 jobs have been created. And I wanted to look at this number. 1.5 billion is the US dollar value of the incubated ventures. And I want to talk about 2 such initiatives of IIM Indore. Now, Indian Institute of Management Indore in 2017, remember friends, this is a recent initiative. This is only 5 years old. It's not as old as the IIM Bangalore initiative, okay? And all of you know that 2 years have gone wasted because of the COVID pandemic. I inquired personally with my IIM counterparts and they told me that, Professor, nothing happened during the COVID pandemic as far as incubation was concerned. But this year, 2022, they have very ambitious plans. And they are allowing incubation facility, not just for their own alumni, but they're also incorporating non-alumni as well. They're inviting applications from non-alumni as well. Now, one of the most interesting programs of theirs is that they're supporting women entrepreneurial aspirants in connivance with NSRCEL and IIM Bangalore and IIM Indore. So this is a joint collaboration. How does it start? So basically, there is an event which is organized like the Clean Tech event that you saw of Government of India. You invite applications from all the students in the country. This is organized by the entrepreneurship cell. Then there is a competition and a selection which happens on a case-to-case basis. And the shortlisted candidates will then be sent to incubation, training, and acceleration program. You'll be surprised to know that students who get selected, if you're a student and you're in your year 2 of your program, your year 2, some of the credits of the academic cycle will be diluted by IIM Indore for their alumni. So if you have 10 subjects, it's not mandatory that you attend all the 10 subjects. you will be allowed to attend only 5 subjects or 6 subjects instead of 10 subjects. So there will be a little bit of levity given to you, right? By I am Indore, because you are investing because entrepreneurship is a full-time job, right? And two initiatives I want to talk about is Greenanjali. Now, what is very interesting about both these initiatives is these have been started by girls, by women. Greenanjali is a Go Green enterprise which aims to convert underutilized spaces into vibrant green spaces in Indore. All of you know that Indore is the cleanest city in India, right? As per the ranking of the cleanest cities in the country. And Greenanjali rehashes a dirty part of the neighborhood into a green space. So that has been very successful. But the second venture where I want to highlight is Cara Green. Cara Green is a venture started by mother-in-law and daughter-in-law together. Okay, and it is a venture, and their website is also there. If you go to Google, you will be able to get all the details. What does this venture do? It provides packaging materials. It provides recycled pencils. What are these pencils? These pencils are made from newspaper and recycled paper. They make recyclable, biodegradable spoons, disposable plastic, wooden spoons. Everything is available at an affordable rate. Now, what is very interesting about Cara Green is I am Indore mentored these two ladies for a period of 6 months to 9 months. I am faculty members. And subsequently later, they went to Shark Tank, which comes on TV. And they won the confidence of the sharks with a INR $5 million 20% equity from none other than Piyush Bansal and Anupam Mittal. So this shows the kind of, and remember, for Shark Tank, I Am Indore has got no role to play. But I Am Indore has basically taught them how to swim. And by the role of the professors and the mentors is to teach the entrepreneur how to swim, how to survive. And that's essentially why these two organizations have been success stories in I Am Indore. The academic perspective is this is a Bloom's taxonomy. My fellow faculty members will identify this very well. Friends, I'm sure that most of us do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels up to evaluate. We do it. But when it comes to the top of the pyramid, which is producing new or original work, there could be a question mark with some institutions. And developing a green entrepreneurial mindset in your university will help bridge that gap and help you to fill up the loopholes or the gaps that may exist by giving you the opportunity to produce new or original work, which will really distinguish your university from the rest of the university. So I would like to end our today's session by saying that I have not failed. One of the things that not many people talk about in India, Indian media always likes to glorify things. They like to show you successful entrepreneurs wearing suits in a 5-star hotel, giving thank you speeches. Behind every successful green entrepreneurial success, there may have been as high as 100 failures. I repeat, 1:100. Okay, but we must learn to celebrate failures as well. In Silicon Valley, which is at the cutting edge of innovation, there are failure parties held every Saturday, Sunday. You know why failure parties are celebrated? Because the person has learned so much through failures that he or she will not repeat the same mistakes. He will go one step even further. Look at Thomas Edison. 10,000 ways he tried to make this wonderful tungsten element work. And look at the wonderful work it is doing for all of us in our day-to-day lives every single day. Right? So with this, I come to the end of our today's session. I'm always connected on LinkedIn. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Srinivas, for your wonderful and very crisp presentation, through which you have elaborated upon job creation, India Green Bhag, and triggers for green entrepreneurs, and financing green opportunities. And also the statement which you quoted that when you do something good, it goes viral. I really like the statement. Great. And of course, I wanted to tell you that at Amity University, Gurugram, we are already offering this course, MBA in Sustainable
Oh, wow.
Management.
Wow.
Yeah, we are
Congratulations.
offering this course, and we have beautiful this incubation labs here, and
Wonderful,
students are excellently participating in all these activities.
wonderful, wonderful. Glad
So
to-
we would like to have few questions. Participants, please drop your questions on the in the chat box.
So I can read the questions now. So there is one question by Roshan who says,
Yeah,
why there is hopelessness among the youth regarding employment? Very good question.
very good question. Yeah.
Roshan, what has happened is there are two challenges that have happened in India. One is the COVID-19 pandemic, which I'm sure you will understand. Official statistics do not share, but I will share some statistics with you. 100 million people have gone back to the below poverty line because of the COVID pandemic. This is the economic repercussion of the COVID pandemic, number one. Number two is there has been a rise in mental health issues in our country, especially with our youth, because youth is a segment which is yearning for more. They want quick solutions, they want quick answers, and those answers are not necessarily forthcoming from the government. And that's why I put you the first quote of John F. Kennedy, right? Now, how do you beat that? So I think that's the reason why I said at the very beginning that we as professors have our responsibility to ignite the minds. And I'm using a quote of APJ Abdul Kalam. We have a very big responsibility on our shoulders to ignite the minds of our youth in the right direction. Fail as many times as you want, but don't fall down, right? Is the kind of attitude that we'll have to inculcate in our youth. And I'm telling you, Roshan, there are a lot of institutions which have done that. And those institutions are doing very well in spite of failures. So I think the opportunity here is not about, so the youth should not look at, I want to particularly point out to one statistic that nobody has talked about. Yesterday's Economic Times, Roshan, says that the number of youth now applying for jobs has suddenly come out. And first, there was a cause of concern. Why are that many number of people not applying for jobs? So people were really worried, and they did a root cause analysis, and they found out that a lot of youngsters are now toying with entrepreneurship as an alternative, which is a very, very heartening thing to know. But as I said, it's a double-edged sword. And that's why incubation labs, as Dr. Sanjana rightly pointed out, which Amity has, will serve a very important platform to encourage our youthful minds to go and try the risk, right? Which is an opportunity which you present to the generation. I hope I've answered your question.
Excellent. The next question is from
Professor Rahul Ranavari.
Rahul Ranavri. As an educationalist, if I think to include entrepreneurship at high school level, what will be the new strategies?
Very good question, Professor Rahul. I would say exhibitions are one of the most innovative ways. And I was recently watching a YouTube video where they showed the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin. He had visited Delhi and he wanted to visit a few schools, the Delhi public school model. So he was taken around by Mr. Arvind Kejriwal to this exhibition center. And there were these boys, young boys and girls who were in their 8th standard, 7th standard, 8th standard school. They'd done phenomenal job. They were talking about finance. They were talking about costing at such a young age. And one of the students was so confident, he goes up to M.K. Stalin, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and he tells, sir, for developing this product, we source the materials from Madurai, which is in your state, Tamil Nadu. So our supplier is from your state. So, we must believe in our today's youth. And I think exhibitions are one of the best ways to harness the energy that a student can develop. And today's youth has got amazing out-of-box ideas, believe you me. So I hope I have been able to answer that.
Yes. Dr. Sakshi Roy has written that Kara Green was in Shark Tank when you were talking about these two major developments. So she must be watching this program. So she has written that Kara Green was in Shark Tank.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, the next question is from you, Pratibha, that green entrepreneurship in education sector, how can we implement this?
Yeah. So the idea here is I asked this same question to a lot of professors, fellow faculty members at IIMs. And the answer that I got was, you don't have to do anything new. If you already have an established incubation lab, you're encouraging students with a academic curriculum which is embedding entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship allotted elements. That itself is good enough. But the way you can inspire green entrepreneurship is you just create an additional element of awareness. Today's youth is very intelligent and very mindful of what is happening around them. And one of the things that I've noticed is when you highlight something to today's youth, I'll give you a small example from my own lecture, which I conducted at SP Jain on the subject of sustainability and corporate social responsibility. I was showing some solutions to the students of some entrepreneurs who have already done this. I don't know what happened, as long as I was teaching theory, students were listening, they were paying attention. You know how students are, their attention span is very limited. But the moment I started talking about a problem and a solution, I don't know what happened within them. There was a sudden burst of energy, and then a lot of them said, "Professor, can we not do this solution? Can we not do this? Is it available somewhere in the internet?" And I said, "I don't know." Okay, can we build this solution and can we show it to you? So it's very interesting. So the idea here is show examples while you're in a teaching mode to the students, centered around some very innovative solutions, out-of-box solutions. Show them solutions which are easily doable. And I can tell you, it will inspire the entire class. It will inspire an entire generation. So that's what it is.
Next question is from Dr. Aarti Sharma, that is there any entrepreneur scheme for females only?
Fantastic question by Aarti Sharma. In fact, the question that you asked will tempt me to take you to this website, which I'm doing now. So Professor Aarti Sharma, this is the NSR CEL initiative. Can you see this section here? It says women entrepreneurs. Now I want to show you some programs here. And in these programs, you will see that there is a sponsor from none other than the American investment banking firm Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women. I'm going to click on this. And what this has is, this is a global initiative actually. And basically the objective is to train 10,000 women owners across 100 countries to become entrepreneurs. And so there are a lot of exclusive such programs, and Goldman Sachs is the sponsor of this Women 10,000 entrepreneurship program. So I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you. I think we have taken up most of all the questions. Thank you so much, Professor Srinivas, for giving us wonderful insight, wonderful knowledge, and on the areas which we are not aware of. This, the last slide which you have shown, it is absolutely a fruitful slide for many of us, including all the faculty members.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjana,
so much for your wonderful presentation and for your excellent intelligence which you have shared with us. We have with us Major General Praveen Kumar Sharma. Sir, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Dr. Srinivas. It's really been wonderful, being from the Army background, attending all these lectures is an eye-opener for me. Really impressed the way you have expressed, and I'm very, very certain that all the participants have richly enriched with what you have covered today. We're very grateful to you for sparing so much of time. And thank you, Dr. Sanjana, for making me a panelist for such an important day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Major General. A very big salute to you and the Indian Army. You are
grateful to you, sir. Grateful to you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Major General P.K. Sharma, sir, and Professor Srinivas ji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us today. And we will definitely be in touch with you for the future endeavors.
Thank you to everybody, Dr. Sanjana.
Yes, we are still receiving the comments from participants. Excellent, impressive, and I will going to use this knowledge with my students.
Wonderful.
That is what we are looking for, Professor Srinivas, that faculties should definitely inculcate all these ideas within themselves so that they can disseminate this information among their students.
Right.
That is the main objective of this capacity enhancement development program.
Excellent. You have also been a very great host, I must say, Dr. Sanjana. So I also want to commend your efforts in this regard.
Thank you so much. Dr. Surekha Yadav has written that make a promise I can generate a more and more entrepreneur in future. What a fantastic message she has written. And I think my hard work is really a fruitful thing now.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Dear participants, I'm just putting this, I'm just on the this chat box, I'm putting this feedback form for you. So kindly fill up this feedback form. I'm also posting it on the WhatsApp group. Kindly fill up today itself, otherwise it will close. And thank you for being here, all the participants, and participating in all the question answer sessions, taking interest. I hope you are enjoying each bit of this particular capacity enhancement training workshop. Kindly, thank you, Surekha. Thank you so much for your answer. And we look forward to see you tomorrow again at sharp 2:25. And I just wanted to tell you that the participants who are not attending all the sessions, they might face problem later on in taking their certifications. So please attend all the sessions. This workshop is only for you, dear participants. So kindly make 100% usefulness from this particular training enhancement program. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. Kindly fill up this link by today itself. I'm posting it on my WhatsApp group also. And participants who have not joined as yet that WhatsApp group, request you to join that group as well. Thank you so much, all of you, for your participation and being with us today. Thank you.